Too popularly, I ain't invincible.
Hey, what's going on YouTube? Recently I hit my 2-year mark ownership of my 2018 Subaru WRX. Now I'm just gonna run through a lot of the points really quickly. There hasn't really been much change from my first year ownership to my second year, so I'm just gonna kind of run down with you you know, what the mileage is currently, how much money I've spent, some of my complaints, you know, going in my second year ownership, and just what the future plans are for this car. So with that, guys, I'm just going to do a quick walk around of my 2018 Subaru WRX. Now currently this car has a little bit under 24,000 miles. I reverted everything back to stock minus the headlights and the taillights. So as you guys can see in front of you, I have the Superspeed V1 headlights with the sequential fog bezels. Just a quick note, if you guys are interested in getting yourself the Superspeed V1 headlights, they are super bright, and I had a really good friend of mine make a tent for it so that way I don't blind other folks while I'm driving at night, because I've seen a lot of people high beam me because they think that I'm high beaming them back. So I still have the same wheels, I love them. The car is a little bit dirty. Really nothing much. I don't like being super flashy like most of the other Subaru owners. And of course I have the V2 sequential taillights. Now in total, guys, I have spent a little bit under $6,000 on my 2018 WRX here. This also includes selling the parts off and you know, getting back some money. But overall, it's not that expensive. I think the most expensive thing about owning this car is really the insurance. Depending on your age, depending on what policy that you have, really the insurance is the most taxing part of owning this vehicle. But you know, fortunately for me, you guys know my story already. I did a lot of planning ahead of time, and so I'm able to afford the car. But you know, in the 2 years that I've owned this car, I've had absolutely no issues. I really love the car, and I still continue to love it. There's no buyer's remorse. Like, I absolutely love this car. Now with that, there are two things that you do kind of come across. There's two types of envies that I've kind of noticed. The first one is, of course, the STI envy. And you know, as a WRX owner, there are many times where you kind of feel like there's an inferiority complex, where like you want an STI and you feel like your car isn't very capable because it's not an STI. And that kind of grows and fades, but overall it's just like, it is what it is. If you have the money and you're able to get the STI, get it, you know, and you know, enjoy it for what it has to offer. But I still think that the WRX is a very capable vehicle, and it is still a really good car in terms of the best bang for your buck. You want a vehicle that you're able to daily drive, that doesn't necessarily create a big hole in your wallet, and you're also able to have fun, and there's also a plentiful aftermarket support, and it's a really good overall experience. I think the WRX is a really great car for that. The other envy is power envy, and this kind of stems from hanging out with other WRX owners and other STI owners, where like everyone's kind of sharing their mods, they're sharing their story, and like they're upgrading and they're modding and they're tuning the car. And so especially for those of us who are stock, there will come a time where like, man, you're kind of like pressed, or feel like you're being pushed to mod your car as well, and you kind of want to compete with other people. Maybe that's just me, but you know, for a while I really wanted my car to be a little bit faster, and I kind of wanted to be able to tell the same stories that some of the other people that I've met are telling. You know, like, oh yeah, my car is pushing like 350 wheel horsepower or something like that. So I kind of lied. I actually had an issue with my 2018 WRX, and the only problem I had with my WRX was when I attempted to modify my car. So for those of you guys who don't know, I was actually on the the MA Performance Stage 1 tune. So I haven't really been in touch with the car scene for a while, so my lingo is kind of off. But I was on the MA Performance Stage 1. I flashed my car, and it was great. On Stage 1, it was wonderful. It got rid of the rev hang, and it was very, very fun to drive. But once I felt like the plateau kind of kicked in, I wanted more power, and I kind of knew that I wanted the car to go a little bit faster and a little bit faster. So with that, I bought the Flex Fuel Kit, the electronic boost, the Grimsby electronic boost controller, solenoid, and I installed everything. I set an appointment with my local tuner, Travis, and long story short, I brought the car up and they tried to tune it, and there was an issue with my car. So Subaru wired my car in such a way where the TGVs, the voltage output was incorrectly, the voltage was off. So one side was shooting lesser power, and then the other side was shooting at normal power, pretty much. So the Flex Fuel Kit wasn't able to work properly because the side that it was latched onto or connected to didn't have enough voltage. So I returned my car back to stock. I went to Subaru and I tried to have them diagnose it, but I couldn't tell them that I tried to modify my car, and because of that, I found the issue. And so what was going on was, because of the difference in the voltage output, the butterfly valves weren't opening up simultaneously. One side was opening, the other side was closed, and then when I hit the throttle, the other side would open and the other side would close. And so at stock, that's not an issue, but when I was trying to get my car tuned for E85, it posed an issue. And so I was very frustrated, and that, you know, the one time I tried to modify my car, I couldn't do it. So I was like, you know what, screw it. There's nothing wrong with the car anyways. I reverted everything back to stock. I sold it all off, and then you know, the breakup occurred with me. My life, you know, everything changed, and so I had to reprioritize my life. And so with that, I'm perfectly okay with my car being stock. So yeah, the only issue I ever had with this car was when I attempted to modify it and I couldn't modify it. So I was like, you know what, this car, maybe it was meant to just be a stock vehicle, and it's just going to be an all-show, no-go car. So it's a great car. I really love this car. Absolutely no buyer's remorse. The only complaints that I really do have with this car is really the paint. You know, you guys heard it again and again, but the paint on Subarus is crap. There's so many rock chips now on my front bumper, and I'm asking myself, how am I going to fix this? Am I going to have to buy a new bumper, or do I just, you know, repaint it later? I don't know. So that's biggest complaint number one. Biggest complaint number two is just the interior noise, the road noise, especially on long road trips. I get really dizzy from all of that, you know, noise, and like it's also very hard to talk with your passengers and like just carry on a conversation and stuff. So even though I really love driving this car, it's really hard to have conversations, and especially those who are in the back seat, they get a lot of headaches as well. And the third biggest complaint I have is, of course, the stock head unit. So as you guys have seen, I went to a Chicane Android head unit, and it was wonderful. It was great. I still want another one, but what had happened was I accidentally broke it. I cracked the screen, and so I had to revert back to the stock head unit, and this thing sucks. I hate this thing. I actually don't even use it anymore. I just keep it off, and I just use my iPhone, and I just put on my my ear pods, or whatever the heck they're called. But yeah, recapping. In total, I spent a little bit under $6,000 on my Subaru WRX here in the 2 years that I've owned this car. I've had absolutely no issues with the car, you know, mechanically, other than the fact that when I attempted to modify my car, it wasn't, a problem occurred. And of course, you know, experiencing the STI envy and the power envy. Those are really my only feedback to you guys. I think the WRX is still a really, really great car. Currently, I owe about a little bit over $10,000 left on this car, and I could definitely pay this car off in a year if I continue to do overpayments. But given the circumstances of this COVID-19 and where my life is going, I'm kind of reevaluating a lot of things. So I'm just kind of going back to the minimum payments. And we'll see from there. I don't know if I'm going to buy a new car. I'm kind of thinking I am going to keep this car. This car is going to be a car that I'm going to keep for the rest of my life. I'm not planning to trade it in. Once it's paid off, it's gonna be my car. It's gonna be my daily driver. Now, I am considering getting the new STI, depending on so many things. Price point, what they're able to offer. I'm a bit reluctant on buying the first generation of any platform, but we'll see. If there's enough substantial change with the new 2021 refresh STI, I'll consider that. But right now, my main priority is to get my own spot. So yeah, that pretty much sums it up. I'm not going to do a driving session. There's really nothing to to show you guys. This car is just stock. The rev hang is still there, and there's really no changes. So if you guys want to feel what a WRX feels like, go to the dealership and drive one. Test drive one. Is pretty much going to be the same thing as mine. So yeah, I hope you guys like this video. If you guys have any additional questions, feel free to comment down below, or feel free to shoot me an email at tomvangtv@gmail.com. I am taking a break from social media for quite a bit. I'm just kind of working on myself, but I'm still around. I check my emails every now and then. So with that, guys, I hope you guys like this video, and I will see you guys in the next one.